similar to a Nathan Lyon who's worked hard on that. But the great thing about him is he's got the mould of Sunil Ryan as well, so he can flick the ball and bowl a carom ball, and so he's got those variations. What we've seen with youngsters when they do that is sometimes they show all of their cards straight away, and the trick is learning when to pull out your variations.
There's no way you'd be biased against a off-spinning all-rounder from New South Wales.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, come on, give him a go.
Right, so change of bowling from the other end. Fallons could be a mix-up here. No, and once again, Jake Carter doing some brilliant work at backward point there. Diving well to his right and stopping that.
It's been a busy man so far in this match, and he's fielded exceptionally well majority of the time.
Just clean take, clean delivery.
He anticipates really well. That's the key to him. He gets in a really strong, powerful fielding position as the ball is about to hit the bat, and he's able to read by the little signs that the batters give.
This one down the leg side. There's protection out there at mid-wicket, so it'll just be one. Coleman doing the fielding. Fallon's into his 11th over rather. One for 33 prior to that single. So he's been handy.
Sam Ferris was very quick to say what is going on with his hairdo.
I don't think Sam Ferris would be the only one with those sentiments either.
Okay, right. I just wanted to know if it was just Sam.
I mean, Sam, for those who know him, international trendsetter, of course. He's the man to refer to on these matters. But yeah, it's an interesting thing from Fallons, and you know he'll be wearing the magenta in the Big Bash this year. I just wonder if any of the kids will be wanting to ask mum and dad for a little braided. I don't want to call it a dreadlock. I don't want to call it a rat's tail. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah. It's interesting though, and we're obviously the Indian side is out here at the moment. Hardik Pandya. Oh, I noticed in the IPL when he was performing well for the Mumbai Indians.
3 for 1, and they'll get a single.
He actually shaved like the thunderstorm like lightning.
Yep.
And I noticed all the kids. That was the hairdo. He was a trendsetter. But you're right. I don't think Daniel Fallons is necessarily going to change what youngsters are doing, as it's the end of the 61st over. India now 4 for 257.
You never know though if he takes a bag full and in the Big Bash, and he's out there with the double dab and dancing up a storm on TV, and could catch on the 7 coverage, or
it should. It will.
You'll be a part of the Big Bash coverage this year, Lisa?
Yeah, fortunate enough to cover a number of matches, but the fact that there's 23 WBBL matches means I'm going to be quite busy with women's cricket. Right, again, I'm looking forward to... Obviously, I was away for the start of the international cricket season with South Africa and then India, so I'm excited to come home and the Test series starting. There's so much exciting cricket for all fans, and you don't have to love Test cricket, that's fine. We'll start you at Big Bash and then bring you through the ranks.
We spoke earlier about a little prediction for the Test series, but the other thing I know that you're very passionate about, I think we both are really, it's kicking off this weekend, the WBBL down at Junction Oval.
It is.
Melbourne. All 8 teams are going to be down there playing games on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you're in the area, that's certainly worth getting down to. But do you have a prediction for the WBBL, Lisa?
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? You know, so many quality players that have been successful over in the West Indies. Also, the international players kind of flooding in and strengthening the franchise teams. You can't go past the Sydney Sixers. They've kept the core group of players, but also Perth Scorchers. Meg Lanning is going to be playing this year.
It's a very big in for them, as we see Ninon doing the fielding and no run available.
It was quite controversial, wasn't it, when she left the Melbourne Stars? Everyone was trying to go, sorry, can you please explain? But Chris Matthews over in WA and Lisa Kitely is the head coach of the Perth Scorchers.
Good sales pitch.
Obviously a very good sales pitch. Locked her in for 3 years.
Yeah, they'll be looking to get a good return on their investment as we see a single. This time it's a square leg, given that she missed the first year of that contract through injury. And I do like the look of the Scorchers. The other team as well, I think, will be quite dangerous this year, will be the Renegades. I think they really took a leap last year after a couple of spoons to start the competition, and they've got plenty of exciting, good young talent. If they can... I think there's no problem there with the bowling stocks, and they'll have Georgia Wareham come in, fresh from her international bow,
or even Taylor Fleming,
Yep.
and Sophie Molyneux. So all the youngsters that featured in that Australian successful World T20 side will get that opportunity to play for the Renegades. You're right, it's just their batting, and I think they'll rely heavily on Amy Satterthwaite, the captain, the New Zealand player.
Danny White's the other one who'll come in and really strengthen them.
Okay, I like your left field selection. I know you follow it.
Yeah, they've been plucky. Every time I've seen them play the Sydney Sixers, at least they've been in a very plucky side, as we see. Fallon's continuing to Vihari. I think they could be Smokies this year. Not necessarily maybe to win the whole thing, but definitely
they'll take some teams. Yeah, absolutely. I think they haven't made the finals as yet.
No, they were probably unlucky though last year.
Correct. Yeah.
But I think this is probably where the competition's gotten to, Lisa, now in the 4th edition we're about to enter. Just the depth overall is just so much stronger. With strikers, they'll be likely to feature as well. They were 4th place last year and lost in the semi-finals, and they've added Sarah Coit to the mix, which is a good pickup.
Sarah Coit played at the back end for the Sydney Sixers, so interesting decision that she's gone back to the Adelaide Strikers, where she originally started a WBBL campaign.
And even the Brisbane Heat, it seems like Laura Harris is having a rebirth up there as an opening batter based on some of the trial form, so they'll be hard to beat as well, given some of the depth in their squad. Grace Harris as well didn't play a full season last year, but showed some glimpses.
Don't you hate it when the fielders do that?
It should be.
As a fielder, as a player out there, I used to muck around and do that, but when you're commentating, you're like, please don't do that.
Good over so far from Fallon's 5 dots. And there'll be runs this time. A little bit streaky from Vihari. Get back for 2. The leg spin has been good so far in India. 4 for 260 after 63 here. Will you be down there in Melbourne for the opening weekend, Lisa?
I will actually. So tomorrow I'll be here covering the game. I have to leave a little bit early before the end of play and head down there. Obviously Channel 7 will be covering those games, so we're just doing some rehearsals and kick off on Saturday and Sunday. 4 games that will be telecast, and the next 2 weekends after this coming one will also be a carnival atmosphere for the WBBL, so it's exciting that the fact that the WBBL comes a little bit earlier than the men's competition, which I think kicks off on the 19th of December. And obviously with the WBBL you can tune into the Cricket Network and cricket.com.au for the matches that won't be covered by the broadcasters.
One of the initiatives as well for this year will be the new BBL Dream 11 fantasy game. bigbash.com.au for both the BBL and the WBBL. Fantastic way to follow all the action along and compete with your mates. As we see almost a screamer at mid-wicket potentially. Nicely flipped off the pads from Rahane. Good dive there. And then it's square leg. I think it's Darcy short.
Yeah, the ball was full in length, and Rahane took it off the stumps, and he felt that Roberts thought, oh, hang on, I'm a chance here from an LBW point of view, but then he also flicked it in the air just past Darcy short.
This time driving mid-off for no run.
Also a little bit uppish there as well. So you get a sense that Jinke Rahane, 28 off 57 deliveries. This is the second last delivery where he hit it in the air. Good fielding out in the deep. Keeping the feet in as well. He almost gets the sense he wants to get his innings moving in the right direction. Just seems a little bit twitchy at the moment.
These two have bowled really well in partnership. Robbins and Fallons. It's been economical where others have potentially been a little bit more expensive. Fallons, 11 overs, 1 for 36, and Robbins really getting into his work. He was 14th over, 1 for 44 as well. Both going at about 3.2 runs and over. So just down the leg side, the dot ball. But when the overall team are going at over 4, it's been good from this young pair. Any bowlers particularly impressed you so far today, Lisa?
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Jackson Coleman. He's been the standout for me. And he's only bowled 9 overs. I really would love to see a few more overs from him. And I think certainly Luke Robbins has done the job as well. So CA11 are fighting back well here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 64 overs gone. India now 4 for 262.
6 bowlers used so far on the CA11. Looks like it's going to be Fallons continuing as well. If you missed any of the action this morning, highlights all over the Cricket Network, but the batsman so far dismissed for India. KL Rahul gone for 3. Could be sure. Rapid 66 from 69 deliveries with 11 boundaries. Pujara 54 and Virat Kohli 64. Bahari's on 40. He's in striking distance of his 50. Can't beat the man a point this time. I believe from media reports he's essentially in a bat-off for the number 6 position in this Indian lineup with Rohit Sharma, who we believe will be the next man in. Fallons floats it up, driven along the grounds of Merlo at mid-wicket.
I wonder how Rohit Sharma feels about potentially coming back into the test side in number 6 position.
Probably not the worst thing to... That's missed. I'll have to wait to see on the call here from the umpire. That may have missed everything. Seemed to take a real bite out of the wicket. It might have caught glove or something in the end. First slip, dive towards the leg side to potentially stop that. It's called leg byes from Blocker Wilson.
Well, he originally called byes and then he changed his decision and called leg byes, and the scorers hadn't picked it up, so he has to hold the position. But another good delivery by Fallons is almost reminiscent of Prithvi Shaw. Just probably too full to sweep.
He does tend to resort to that flatter stop ball. But he's been bowling good control today, giving a little bit more flight, slowing down his pace, and he's been one of the best for the CA11 out there today. This time use of the feet from Vahare. They thoroughly get through for a single. Yeah, but that number 6 position can be quite good, Lisa, if you're coming in and the ball's pretty dead, particularly coming in Australian conditions. If you're maybe in the 50th over mark or afterwards, you just don't want to be coming in on the 81st over or anything like that. It starts to zoom around again after the ball's replaced, up-ish. Mane looking to push it on there. Almost a wicket for the CA11.
Yeah, he dances down the wicket and wasn't at the pitch of the ball and decided to throw his hands at it. And there was enough turn by Fallons that got the outside edge. The only issue was from a CA11 perspective, it didn't go to hand. So Fallon's just creating some opportunities. And as I said earlier, Jinko Rahane looks very twitchy at the moment. He's trying to up his scoring rate, but some of the decisions and choices that he's making aren't necessarily going his way. It's almost like he's trying to hit his way into form.
I think that's a fair description, Lisa. It's been a bit of a struggle to see him get to 28 so far. You see, change of bowling. Your man, Lisa. Jackson Coleman back into the attack. 9 overs, 1 for 26. 3 maidens for the big man south of the border. Got it to swing early. It's in here to Vihari. Back of the length, straight. Just nudge it onto the onside for no run.
Yeah, he was effective with the new ball. He was able to get it to nip off the seam, and that's how he was able just to trouble KL Rahul when he was out there facing him. And he was the one that really pitched the ball up as well.
I think that's been the talk a lot about Coleman, his career today. I had the pleasure of watching him in a number of one-day games, and he does pitch it up like that, particularly early days. This will be a handful of runs. It was parried out onto the onside by Robbins. They'll push for 3 and they'll get it on the arm. It's good running by India. When he does pitch it up, he can certainly swing the ball, which is particularly being a left-hander is incredibly valuable. His father Glenn played 194 games of AFL for Fitzroy in Sydney and the Bulldogs, and himself was pushing for an AFL career before he came back to cricket a few years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, given the height.
Yep, big ruckman.
And the pedigree. You find a lot of the Victorians obviously are successful AFL players, and it's that fight for that small percentage of the population that have that athletic ability and are normally good at a number of sports, and it's whoever shows them the opportunities and the right environment, and hopefully the players pick the sport that they're most passionate about.
Harney back on strike. This time no run available on offer, and I dare say if you speak to most of those Victorians as well, Least, they'll probably tell you if it wasn't for cricket, they probably would have gone top 10 in the draft. Had a 300-game career, Hall of Famer.
So then why did they pick cricket?
maybe cricket picked them.
Maybe some future stars there in the making as well. Looks like North Sydney boys.
Yeah, Sydney High School across the road from the SCG.
Oh, sorry, not I said North Sydney. I meant Sydney
Boys High.
Yeah, Sydney Boys High. It's not a bad place to have your school, and then during certain periods that you're off, just head on over. The school's shortly about to finish, so maybe we might see some more kids come in.
Certainly worse places to be on a Thursday, that's for sure. And here at the SCG, seeing some of the best in the world take on some of tomorrow's stars. Harney this time finds the gap. Don't think it was a chance there. The man at Gully get through for a single. They've called him the Mighty Mouse, but he's been scratching like a cat out there today, Rahane. 29 from 65 deliveries. The other batters have found it certainly a lot more easier. And the diminutive vice-captain out there today for India. 66 overs gone for 269. Partnership's been building those 65 between these pair, led by Vihari's 44. This last passage of play though, Lisa, the screws certainly being tightened as we see a replay.
Yeah, he just seems to be wanting to score runs in that area, doesn't he? Like he played the uppercut and missed a number of times. It's probably a little bit too close to kind of try and cut it. I know he's trying to guide it in that area. When he comes across that Australian team from that first test match in Adelaide, he's going to have to be careful about playing shots like that.
It's a much better shot there, this time from Rahane. Gets a single, the sweeper out at extra cover. Saw Fallon's draw the false stroke not long ago. Just kind of think that when the ball's in the hands of a man with a haircut like this, stuff's just going to happen. A couple of gullies in place now. Bahari, no one backward to square on the onside. In fact, only 3 on the onside altogether. He's going to be driven to one of them and get a single.
It's almost tempting, isn't it, for the right-handed batters to try and sweep the ball against the spin. They seem to, for Bahari, they bring the fielder across to the offside. And then for Rahane, they know he is a sweeper, so potentially they put that extra support at that short 45.
Fair to say, Fallon's bowling style would be almost quite similar to what these batters would have seen in India, just given that he doesn't have to throw it up to get the kind of turn that he gets.
Well, in India, you normally play on pitches that are conducive to spin. And so in India, you're not beaten by flight, you're beaten by spin. Whereas Fallon probably adopts that because he's a little bit quicker in the air.
One, they get another single.
Ideally, as a spinner bowling to players that are used to those subcontinent conditions, you want to generate a little bit more topspin. And by doing that, you mean you're going to extract some more bounce out of the pitch. And all of a sudden, a shot that you're normally used to playing, it kind of just bounces a little bit more and catches an outside edge or top edge, or it hits high on the bat, or hits the gloves when they're defending. So it creates all of those opportunities potentially. As it's the end of the 67th, India now 4 for 2, 7-2.
Of course, this match, 4-day fixture, lost the entire first day due to rain yesterday. So we'll see, I think around 105 overs out here at the SCG today. Kicked off about 5 to 10 this morning after the toss was taken at 9:30. Cricket Australia 11 winning the toss and opting to bowl. India going along good guns. And losing the 4 wickets so far. As we see Coleman now around the wicket. They'll get a single. This one's pushed to square leg. Rahane just losing his footing rather. He took off for the run there. There's plenty of rain around yesterday rather. A month's worth of rain fell in 2 hours in Sydney. You wouldn't really know it looking at the SCG out here today. It's come up beautifully. Bahari on 45. It's a single. Looking at these pair, Lisa, we've got 2 batters out there who have been together for some time now. Rahane's faced 70 deliveries, Bahari 73. The partnership worth 70. Just got to ask the question, where do you think the wicket's going to come from for the Cricket Australia 11?
Oh, I'm glad that they've brought Jackson Coleman back in and bowling. You'd like to think that potentially they'll keep chopping and changing the bowlers as they kind of build to that 85 over mark, and then all of a sudden you get the new ball again, and that's when you can hopefully pick up a few wickets. It's about applying pressure, being consistent with your line and length, making them work for their runs, and to see if the Indian batters are happy just to kind of sit and wait for the loose deliveries.
Coleman in, pull, push to the offside for no run.
And that's what the CA11 side has been able to do after lunch. And that's why the run rate has slowed down a lot compared to the first session. And they've been able to pick up some wickets as well. Coleman started with 3 slips and a gully. He's gone down to 1, a bit more protection for him in that cover region. And 2 fielders out on the boundary on leg side. So you just kind of wonder if CA11 fast bowlers are going to try something a little bit different, maybe short pitch bowling, see if these guys want to play the pull and hook shot. Can they keep it along the ground? Can they duck and weave out of it? The only thing that I've probably been a bit disappointed about the CA11 fast bowlers is when they've used the short delivery, it's been too high. A number of those deliveries have been called wide. I want to try and go at the badge of the helmet.
Coleman this time pitches up, beats the outside edge. That's a good delivery. Awfully close to the outside edge of Rahane. He survives another over.
It was really well bowled because what it did was it just left the right-hander of Ajinkya Rahane. His kind of just foot was going nowhere. You can see he overbalances. And he just gives a little nod to say, yep, well bowled. You beat me there. And that's the length that you've got to try and bowl. Batters get a little bit indecisive. Do I come on the front foot? Do I come on the back foot? In the end, they're just trying to feel for the ball with their hands, and that's when you can strike as a bowler.
Hari now on strike to Fallons. Really impressed with him so far today. 42. His 14th over. Gully's still in place. And it's tickled round the corner. First slip's got to go and retrieve it, so they'll get back for an easy 2.
I think Vihari's looked really good, hasn't he?
He has. He's looked completely in control. He's looked compact. He's looked composed. I don't think he's played a false stroke.
He looks like he can score all around the ground. He's not just dependent on a couple of shots. I like the fact that his pickup is very simple.
They're going to get back for 2 here on a slight misfield, and that's going to be his 50 as well. So it's the 4th 50 of this Indian innings, and Vihari does it from 75 deliveries. Keeps his name in consideration for this first Test match. Kick off next week in Adelaide.
Yeah, really well composed 50 by Vihari. He's looked comfortable off the front foot, the back foot. He's been busy at the crease. Just to give you an example, Vihari 50 off 76, Ajinkya Rahane 32 off 74. Just shows you how easy he has found it when he's been out there.
He did come in around a similar time, and his partnership was 74. Vihari's contributed 50 of it, so just it's been dominant, Lisa, as you suggested, and it's not only where he scored, but the fact that he's been able to do it and not allow pressure to be built on him.
Shining now. Glorious day in Sydney.
Things are only going to get better as well, Lisa. Early reports we were looking at close to 30, I think, on Sunday. Might be a perfect remedy for a day off after 3 days of cricket for both of these sides, as we see the 69th over come to an end here at the SCG in India, 4 for 278.
With only 16 overs left before the new ball, you expect Sam Whiteman, the captain of the CA11 side. Keep changing his bowlers. We saw a little bit of Darcy Short with the ball in hand. Bowling his quick wrist spin. He's got all deliveries in his repertoire as well. He keeps working on his skills. So he bowled 6 overs, none for 27. Like you said earlier, only 6 bowlers used so far by the CA11.
Coleman in now to Rahane. Beat him. All ends up. The last ball of his last over this time. Gets a single out towards square leg. Just really shoveled around the corner.
It was a well-controlled shot. Didn't necessarily bounce as high as Coleman would have liked. Probably about waist height. Just see that Rahane just checked his shot, just helped it along the way, knowing that there's 2 fielders out there. Sometimes the best way to get yourself in form is get a single and get up the other end. It gives you time just to get used to the conditions, be composed. And at the moment, Bahari is the one that seems more comfortable to score runs frequently.
In general chat about Bahari, he's got an advocate in Sunil Gavaskar who'd like him to be at number 6 in the Test team. The first game in Adelaide. Ian Chappell, on the other hand, was calling for Rohit Sharma, believing that the Australian pitches and the bounciness would suit a guy who's opened the batting in one-day cricket. Plays a good short ball. You see Coleman in again.
Well, Ian Chappell does tend to make some sense. But then I guess Sunil Gavaskar has also seen a lot of Bahari, whereas we necessarily haven't. I guess to a certain extent that Rohit Sharma is, not come. Oh, he's still got plenty of years still to play cricket. But Bahari, he's part of the next generation, isn't he?
If this is the first time you've seen Bahari, 25 years old, born in 1993. Just 1 test so far in his career. He did make 50, which is why people think he's got the goods. Bowls a little bit of off spin as well. 3 for 37 he picked up in that Test match as well to earn himself the incredible bowling average of 12.6 so far in his short career. First class numbers even more impressive with the bat, averaging a tick under 60. Highest score 302, 66 matches in his career and over 5,000 runs already, so certainly built a good body of work in the first class scene. Bowling average of 37 as well. We'll see him bowl some off breaks, no doubt, when the Cricket Australia 11 are out here. Their turn to bat over the next couple of days. Last ball of the over, on to Rahane. The body just tucked around the corner for a single, so 3 runs coming from the 70th over. Yep, 4 for 281. And last time they were out here, at least 4 years ago, it was KL Rahul who debuted, scored a ton out here on the SCG and started his international career, which has since led him to become a regular within the team. He's been in and out, but we could be seeing a man out there today at the moment, Bahari, who could be doing a similar thing.
Well, and you'd expect also, given how well Prithvi Shaw played today as well, that he signed himself within the playing 11, and he's going to be an exciting player to watch during this Test series, how he combats the tall, fast bowlers of Australian cricket.
Very comfortable on the back foot though, Lisa, so might doing well.
And we haven't yet seen Rishabh Pant, keeper.
You would have seen a bit of him over at the IPL?
Yeah, the IPL and also the recent Test series against West Indies, where he scored 2 92s and scored them in quick time as well. So he's another player that's comfortable off the back foot. He's not afraid to actually go down the ground and hit aerial. I think one of his first scoring shots in Test cricket was a 6. Straight back over the bowler's head. So
kids these days.
I know. If only we all played as fearlessly as they do nowadays.
Certainly part of the new breed. He's 21. Prithvi Shaw, 19 and just turned 19. He's a November-born baby, November 9, I believe. So
hence why he could play the Under-19 World Cup this year. There's a number of young players from that Under-19 side that are going to be impressive. Another one is Shubman Gill, another batsman. He's probably a little bit more technically correct than Prithvi Shaw.
Both of them, both playing in the IPL as well this year. So.
Yeah. Fallon's continues. He's bowling his 16th over and he has bowled well. Operating with the slip. Just 2 fielders out. That's probably the most that we've seen throughout this first day of the tour match between CA11 and India. One on the offside, one on the leg.
Ends with a full toss, and that will be tea here on day 2 of the tour match between the Cricket Australia 11 and India. 71 overs gone so far in play today in India, 4 for 283. Rahane and Vihari will enter the sheds unbeaten before this evening's session. And it's been a good one so far for India. Looking at the batting card out there today. Lokesh Rahul, KR Rahul, he was going for 3 from 18 deliveries. Prithvi Shaw, the other opener, 66 from 69 with 11 boundaries in his effort. Cheswa Pujara, 54 from 89. The captain, Virat Kohli, the last man out, caught and bowled by Aaron Hardy. He was gone for 64 from 87 deliveries with 7 fours and 1 6. And on our batsman, Jika Rahane, 35 deliveries from 82. He scratched around only 1 boundary so far in that effort. But he's out there and that's the main thing. And Hanuma Vihari, the last man past 50, the 4th so far the innings at 52 not out from 83 deliveries.
As for the bowlers, the 6 bowlers used, and they've been used nicely by Sam Whiteman, all bowling a fair few overs. It's only Darcy Short has only bowled 6, but 4 of the players picking up a wicket, Coleman, Hardy, Robbins and Fallon. And they've bowled exceptionally well after lunch, just to put a bit more pressure on the Indian batting lineup and make it harder for them to score runs.
Here we see some of the highlights from the second session out here today. This is the first wicket. Luke Robbins busting through the defences of Pujara. Absolute peach. It's exactly what you want to see from your fast bowlers. And it was a great first wicket for him. Virat Kohli came to the crease, played a few entertaining shots, at least finding the boundary. In the end was eventually undone by a young man from WA, Aaron Hardy, who's making a bit of a name for himself from dismissals in tour games. He was gone for 64, was the captain. So we're going to take a short break here on the Cricket Network from the SCG, and we'll be joining you for the final session of today's play just over half an hour's time.
फिल्म बंद करें.
Robbins comes over the wicket for the right hand of Ashwin. Just looking at Rishabh Pant. Played 5 test matches, runs 346. His highest against England at 114, I mentioned. Not a bad average, 43. Strike rate, 73. It's not bad when you come into the side.
I mean, you'd take it, please. And there's obviously been a bit of conjecture about the keeping place within the Indian team, particularly in the white ball teams, and it seems like he's now firmly succeeded Dhoni at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like it, with Mahendra Singh Dhoni not being selected for the T20 side. You get also a sense that there's been a cultural shift within the Indian team. 5 years ago, he'd never dropped someone like Dhoni or Tendulkar or Rahul Dravid or any of those names, but there's a new wave of cricket that is coming in India, and I think it's been driven largely by the IPL and the exposure of all of these young players that have been getting, and they're playing against some of the best cricketers in the world and performing well. So why not give them an opportunity at the international stage? So end of 89 overs. India is 6 for 348, and I will take a spell and Gab Joshi will come in.
A big thank you to Lisa Sthalekar for her comments. Very good to have her here putting up with us after the highs of the World Cup. We're very pleased to welcome in Gab Joshi as well.
Right, Max. Good afternoon. Final few overs of the day. 98 overs, I've been told.
98?
Yes.
Okay.
Correction, I believe so. Yeah, we're all playing.
Yeah, that sounds about right to us.
So, do my match right. That's 9 more overs for the day. So, yeah, we just... Ajinkya Rahane also retiring, so giving everyone a bat. Rishabh Pant and Ravi Ashwin out there in the middle. Interesting to see how Rishabh Pant goes.
So he's on the strike now. Aaron Hardy rolls across the left-hander safely into the keeper's gloves. It seems like Pant's giving himself quite an open stance. Not even just to the right-hander bowling across the body, but to Robbins as well in the last over. He seems to be looking to open his body towards the bowl and give himself those scoring options.
Yeah, there he is. He's very open at the crease. He loves to drive the ball on the rise, which can be difficult in Australia, and sort of just see that ball there. Sometimes gets into a bit of trouble playing across his front pad, but he's got immense talent, does Rishabh Pant. Ricky Ponting spoke very highly about him during the IPL as well. He was there at Delhi Daredevils. It's a terrific game. Comes from a place called Roorkee, just north of Delhi. In fact, had a lot of his coaching done is from a similar coach to Virat Kohli in Delhi, where he started to go there and play a lot of club cricket, as you tend to do.
It's down the leg side and he's gone. Well, a third wicket for Aaron Hardy, and Ravi Ashwin's gone for a duck. Strangled down the leg side. Subdued celebrations from the CA11, but the 8th Indian wicket is back in the sheds, and the man from WA's got 3.
He has. Not the best ball to get a wicket, but as they say, you just need 10 balls to get the team out. Here is the replay. It's going slightly towards leg side, and Ashwin's bat might have hit that right in the middle of the bat too.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a perfect leg lance right into the keeper's gloves. He knew it hit it too.
Harry Nielsen behind the stumps from South Australia. He moved well, took it comfortably
Yeah, just terrific footwork by Harry Nielsen. Just looking at the replay on how far the ball was down leg side, and Ashman looks perplexed, as in he thought he's definitely got 4 there. Easy leg glance. We just watch the movement of Harry Nielsen top of the screen. He's gone 1 across and too easy. So footwork is everything about wicket keeping, and Harry Nielsen proving it there.
Runs in the family.
Yes.
Say, Gav. But it's the 7th wicket on the scoreboard. Adding that to the retirement. Ajinka Rahane, who left the field after his half-century. And CA11 have done a good job here fighting back after some good efforts by the Indian top order. Hardy now. Look at the bowlers, 3 for 48.
Yeah, I must say, it was a very good ball that got Rohit Sharma out. Made him come forward. Just bounced a little, just a bit of extra movement with the hard new ball, and it was a very good catch by Darcy Short. So Rohit Sharma probably just behind Hanuma Vihari. We've talked about the Indian number 6 position, and Ravi Ashwin has been dismissed to see Mohammad Shami, who's come out to the middle. So that's interesting.
Could be Shami or could be...
It's definitely Mohammad Shami. Yeah, certainly not Ravindra Jadeja.
Well, he would be batting the other way, wouldn't he, Gav?
Yeah, absolutely. And if we see Mohammad Shami bat for another couple of balls, you can tell that, that he certainly wouldn't have scored 3 triple hundreds in domestic cricket. Certainly not. He does like to swing the willow. There's Mohammad Shami. He's the good batsman.
So this could be a little ploy, Gav.
Yeah,
probably a 2-over turnaround, as you mentioned. 98 overs planned for today. So if India want to have a hit out here, they might be able to bowl a couple of overs this evening. The CA11.
Yeah, quite possibly, but
this one's past the outside edge. No, it's gone. So Aaron Hardy, the golden arm, he's got a 4th, and Mohammad Shami, he's gone for a duck.
Big Ishant Sharma's just got himself out of the dugout and into the dressing room. He's just walking up there, and Shami is gone. So that certainly wasn't Ravindra Jadeja. Mohammad Shami doesn't quite like to trust his defence, and we know why. Pro just pushed out that one. A terrific bowling, and it's got his 4th wicket.
Yeah, well, he's been on song this spell. Aaron Hardy picks up his 3rd in quick succession. The last one he wouldn't necessarily be too stoked about, with a strangle down the leg side, but this, another beauty. Just pushing at the ball with Shami. And he's on his way without scoring. So this is a really good over. Ends up 2 wickets, just this 1 run coming from it. Aaron Hardy, and all of a sudden, after 12 overs, he's got 4 for 48.
Looks like Umesh Yadav might be the man coming out to the middle.
And it looks like Umesh Yadav might have 2 left-handed gloves.
Sort of expect that with the tail enders, doesn't it? Here he is, he's having a bit of a laugh. It is a practice game, so hopefully he's not timed out. I'm sure he can cross the boundary and start. I think India was slightly surprised that maybe it was Ajinka Rahane's declaration or retirement, and then here he comes. He's hopefully got...
Yes, great scenes. Yeah, I'm a lot more used to this, the standard of cricket I play, Gav, but it's nice to see that it catches up with all of us eventually. Now, while we have 8 wickets fallen now for India, 349 runs on the board, adding that the retirement of Rahane, and it could become quite a little frustrating period for the Indian side. They're obviously pretty keen to get some balls into the batsman out there, Rishbhar Pant, but he's only faced the handful of deliveries. He's 2-0 out from 5 himself, and be desperately keen to try and spend a little bit of time in the middle, potentially maybe just the remaining 8 overs of play out there today, Gav. But
yeah, it's interesting now, especially Rishabh Pant. I mean, he's just got the tail enders, so does he swing his willow and get some runs? And I would think that India were going to have another bat in this game sometimes. That's when you might see someone like KL Rahul and maybe Rishabh Pant batting at number 3. Just get a bit of match practice into him and a bit of game time as well. But look, India, well, I wouldn't say they've collapsed, but a few wickets.
Some would. So here's Luke Robbins now. Punts on strike and he swings hard at that one. Lucky to get away with it. It's a thick top edge. It's racing out towards the vacant third man area. He's showing his intent, that's for sure.
Just going to have a peek through the binoculars down in the Indian dressing room to see if they might be bowling. But it doesn't look like it. I think Ishant Sharma's gone inside. And no one really in the dugout as such, but geez, a wild swing. I mean, we've had some wild weather, but Rishabh Pant.
Month's worth of top edges in 2 hours. So here's Robbins again. Is this one going to go from Pant? Back down the ground. That's hit hard and that's well brilliant stopped. Diving stop. It's Aaron Summers down there who dived well to his right to get a hand on that. But signs of intent from Pant. We could be on for anything here, Gav. I'm going to stand up and get ready just in case a catch comes our way.
We are at the opposite end to where Rishabh Pant's batting at the moment, but
kids these days, Gav.
Yes, kids, the bats, and what they can do.
Robbins in, back of a length, driven hard. This time, not quite timed out of the middle of the bat. Another dot ball. And turned down a single on the last ball, Gav. And while this obviously would be frustrating for Pant, it could be simulating a match condition they might face in the Test series coming up. So it's still an important period for the 21-year-old keeper batsman. But I'll tell you what, fans in that members stand, get your hands ready, because if he does get a hold of one of these, they're coming right down their throat.
Can hit the ball a long way. Watch for the huge backlift and just nudging this one. So still got 2 more balls to come. So yeah, I think you probably expect Pant to bat possibly number 3 or number 4 when India bat second time around, and maybe give another hit to someone like a Hanuman Vihari and KL Rahul certainly, but Shaw would probably still want to open it. Just a classic modern day Indian batsman standing a foot outside his crease, and then
and he's on the back foot cutting this one hard for 4. So a little bit shorter, a little bit wider from Robbins, and he gets the treatment. It's a good shot from Pant. And just having a look at his record, Gav, this is quite a remarkable stat. He's only 8 innings into his Test career so far, the 21-year-old, but in 8 innings he's already registered 12 sixes in Test cricket, which is just quite remarkable. Speaks to his skills.
Yep, there it is. Just flayed that one through the offside. A beautiful square cut. Actually got off the mark. Became the first Indian cricketer in the history to get off mark in Test cricket with a 6 when he smashed Adil Rashid straight back over his head at Trent Bridge in Test debut. So
it's good cricket here. He just takes a single, keeps the strike, ends the Robbins over with the 7 runs coming from it. 91 gone now, and the India side a 9 for 356.
So he can certainly hit the ball a long way. If you just watch, if you might see him get a hold of a couple. See the bat swing, we see the Indian dugout. Doesn't look like the fielding. We're certainly not Prithvi Shaw. He's still in his Indian gear. We see the security guard having a chat with the security manager of Indian team. There's Big Nuan, as they called him, the left arm slinger I've been talking about throughout the call.
Jeez, his left arm looks a lot bigger than his right, doesn't it?
Yeah, we'll definitely let him know, actually. Him and you might see the Indian team. He might be in the change room. Arun Kanade, they always have a bit of a well, I've been urging them to have a bit of a arm wrestle, yeah, to see both sort of pride themselves on their strength and said, okay, well, might see a video somewhere on bcci.tv or something with those 2 at it.
So it looks like we're going to see 19-year-old Aaron Hardy continue here. 4 for 48, chance for a 5-fer here, which would be a memorable one, of course. Pants on strike, in, full push to the offside for no run. Onside, much bigger than the offside. For Pant at the moment. Heading out towards that Bill O'Reilly stand. Would be a hell of a strike.
That's a long hit out there. That's a good 100 and, well, I don't think my golf drives even go that far, Max. Well, if they do, then must have a gale behind me.
So here's Hardy. Once again, tight line. Can't free the arms.
Yeah, for all 3 days.
We'll see a media manager. He's quite close to our stump, our mics actually on the boundary. You can pick up his few words that he's saying. Probably just working out who's he's going to put up on the press conference at the end of day's play. Chatting to the cameramen who've been working hard. I'm sure they've been happy that got this sun on their back now and no more rain. It's an extraordinary field. There's no one for about. Who went Richard Punt? I think the closest fielder to him is a good 80 metres away on the leg side. Just practicing different kind of shots. Maybe he's just trying to think what he's going to do, what the tactic might be. Look out if he bowls outside the off stump, because he loves hitting the ball over the top of covers.
Yep. Or look out if he puts one short, because fielders might be on there.
They well could be.
So here's Hardy. This one is short, punched down the ground, toe ended. They'll push for 2, and they'll get it as well. Aaron Summers doing the fielding, so no real timing on the shot from Punt, but keeps the scoreboard ticking over.
Mentioned the other might have walked out there with 2 right-handed gloves or left-handed gloves, but just watch him, might seem, just love the way he plonked the bat over the crease at the far end. Panther was a little bit more professional.
This one's wide, upish, might have been dropped, in fact, in the cover area.
Yeah, Jonathan Merlo, looks like. I wonder if he's put down a chance. Shaking his head.
He might have, seems to be giving away with his body language.
Yeah, interesting.
Hardy would love 5 here. One more ball left to do it in his 13th over. As the field comes up on the onside.
Yeah, Jonathan Merlo hasn't had a bowl today. He's a decent all-round cricketer. More of a batting all-rounder, of course, and he's going to be run out. No, he's not.
Well, it's all happening here at the SCG, Gab, and that looks like it's going to be the end of play here as well. Oh, it actually hit the stumps.
It's actually been run out.
Well, we missed that, but it looks like Yadav's running off. So Aaron Hardy misses out on his 5-wicket haul, but he's picked up a run out, Gab. So
I tell you what, we watch so much cricket with those zinc bails on.
Yeah, we're spoiled. So you see here on the replay, it's good bowling by Hardy, and this is an even better effort as he throws. Just seems to nick the outside of the stumps on the way through. Yadav's run out by centimetres. Great call from the umpire, Jared Abood, there at the non-striker's end. See here on the replay, he's caught short of his ground just. So some great work by Aaron Hardy. Misses the 5-fer, but I dare reckon the young man from WA would take it. The Indian innings has come to an end. They're all out for 358, Gav. 92 overs gone. And it's been a pretty good day out here for the Cricket Australia 11.
Yeah, Aaron Hardy starring with the 9 wickets. See the batting card we just go through. India having sent in by CA11 captain Sam Whiteman this morning. They lost KL Rahul early as he tried to drive left armour Coleman through the covers, and he was caught at mid-off by Maxi Bryant. So he was out for 3. Prithvi Shaw played some beautiful shots for his 66 off just 69 balls, 11 boundaries in that knock.
But it was all about Prithvi Shaw, the youngster who's only played 2 test matches, made a debut test 100. He has enjoyed the conditions, but he came unstuck when Dan Fallon's managed to bowl a foolish delivery and bowl him around his legs. The youngster wasn't able to get in the right position, and Fallon's picked up the wicket after bowling a maiden. King Kohli came to the crease and he didn't waste that much time before we saw what he was able to do. Playing beautifully through the cover region, using his feet against the spinners, and also, as we know, very accustomed to the short ball.
Virat Kohli looking sublime. Really good. I was just going to say, the only thing uglier than Prithvi Shaw's dismissal was the rat's tail by Dan Fallon. Isn't that thing ordinary?
I'm glad you said it. I just thought maybe I'm too old, you know.
No, that's an absolute shocker. He needs to get rid of that ASAP. As we watch the players come back out on the field, they're the first session highlights. The sun is out. This is what Sydney is like, Lisa. I don't know what everyone's going on about that rain yesterday. That's an absolute anomaly.
I didn't see it, so I didn't realise it was.
It was a little bit wet. I mean, everyone's carrying on, but I think it was, you know, sprinkling. Probably put it down to that. But the sun is shining. There's a couple of spectators over there in the ladies' stand. But
well, always Indian supporters. They find out where the Indians are playing, and they are there in their droves. I'm surprised we haven't seen as many as I thought we would, given the fact that Virat Kohli is 41 off 58.
Absolutely, and you know, if you're going to watch Virat Kohli bat in front of an empty SCG, now's the time to do it. I mean, he's going to fill his boots, you would think. I can't see a declaration today, Lisa, but you know, it's a perfect hit out for the Indians ahead of that first domain test on December 6th at the Adelaide Oval. Just out the back during the first session, the big quicks, Stark, Hazelwood and Cummins were bowling their final net session before they head to Adelaide. Looking very sharp. A couple of Indian players in the nets alongside them warming up as well, but I'm sure they were all thinking with Ryan Gibson down there at one end, and he was batting, and I'm sure that Hazelwood, Stark and Cummins were thinking they were bowling to Virat because he's going to be the big wicket this summer.
Well, you almost wondered whether, given that they're just behind the members' pavilion, whether they'd just run out here, trot out and have an opportunity to bowl. As we're going to see Luke Robbins come in. He's going to change end and bowl from the Randwick end. And bowls to Pujara, who doesn't quite get his timing right after lunch.
You're right, though. It would have been very interesting to see.
Just a couple of overs.
Just a test attack come out there, you know, manage their workloads out in the middle of the SCG, get those overs under their belts, bowl to, you know, the players they're going to face in 4 test matches this summer. Would have been quite a battle, and I'm sure if that was the case, the crowds would have quickly filled.
Left alone this time. Well, I guess as a former player, I would have gone, no, I don't want them to have a look at me. They can have a look at me come the first test match. But I also think, you know, whilst workloads are important and strength and conditioning staff monitor all the fast bowling loads, the best way to get your loads up, proper loads up, is in a real life situation where you know you're gunning for wickets. You're going to put in that extra effort instead of potentially just going through the motions as the guys might have been doing in the back nets. But yeah, interesting train of thought.
But as a current non-player or never player, I would say that, I mean, these players have played each other so often.
What's another 10-5?
Are they going to learn
overs?
anything?
Yeah.
I mean, has Mitchell Stark got a special delivery that he doesn't want to show Virat Kohli? I'm not so sure.
Robbins this time just straightening his line up. Pujara comfortably defending it.
And plus, you can start getting those mental scars in early. I always talk about the mental scars.
Yeah, I think that's a big point. Yeah.
If you can come out here, Josh Hazell takes the outside edge of Virat Kohli in his warm-up game, deprives him of some key overs in the middle. Maybe you think, well, advantage Australia.
Bowled him. So straight after lunch, Pujara missed Luke Robinson's delivery and hit the top of the bails.
Perfect delivery there, isn't it? It's come forward, been the outside edge, taking the top of off stump. Pretty sure that's a textbook delivery there from the young bowler.
He'd certainly be happy with this delivery. He's bowled seam upright a lot of the time. Squared him up as well, hit the top of off stump. That's what all the fast bowling coaches want you to do.
Oh, that's outstanding. Just the bails. Pujara's got no idea. He meant to be fair, he covered that pretty well, but it's just done enough off the seam. And look at that. Shattered the bails.
So Pujara departs after a decent amount of time in the middle. Scored a 50 and he would have felt comfortable with his time, but the joys of the longer format, you've got to come in and get set again. So that partnership of 73 between Pujara and Kohli is broken, and it comes about by Luke Robbins. And India now are 3 for 169. And the new batter in is Ajinkya Rahane. Comes in and you get a sense that he's a little bit under pressure.
It's pretty interesting, this batting lineup for India, because they've got so many star players. How they fit them all in is going to be very interesting. We've got Rohit Sharma listed to come in at number 7. But the talk around the Indian journos, Lisa, is that they want Rohit at number 6, and how they fit him in this team, whether he plays without an all-rounder in this side, it's going to be interesting. Generally, you need 5 bowlers in Australia. Rohit, not so much of a bowler, so I'm not sure how they're going to balance their side, but Rohit seems to be a key player for them this summer as Rahane faces up to Robbins.
Decides to go with a short delivery to start with, and is ridden nicely by Rahane. So end of a successful over, a wicket maiden by Robbins. His figure's 1 for 27. India now, after 39, it's 3 for 169. If you look at the batting order for the test match over in India when they last played against the West Indies, it was Shaw, Rahul, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Pant, Jadeja, Ashwin, Kuldeep Yadav, Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Shami. So I'm just trying to think.
Try and squeeze another batter.
Yeah,
somewhere.
exactly. So that's why I think the question marks are on Ajinkya Rahane. And that, as my fellow commentators were saying, his record away from home is impressive. It's going to be Coleman. Jackson Coleman to bowl to Kohli. Kohli again picks up where he left off before lunch and scampers through for a single. Kohli moves on to 42. So
the pressure's on, Lisa.
Well,
it's a huge call.
Your other option
They're not going
is
to play. How many spinners have got this side there?
Well, I mean, they're playing
Stage,
in
Ash.
yeah, but this is in India, so obviously they're not going to come in with three spinners. So I think they've got to come in with 3 quicks.
Bumrah, Shami,
Ishan. Do you go Kumar or Shami? I think you go Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. That's who I would go.
Yeah, Bhuvaneshwar's going to play. So they've got Bahari in there because he bowls a little bit as well, doesn't he? Whether he can provide those extra overs for Virat during the series, during that first test.
But the issue is really, and this is, you'd love one of your top 3 or 4 to be able to kind of bowl
Something.
5, 6,
Yeah.
10 overs maybe.
Nice length delivery there from Coleman. Yeah. What about Virat? Why can't he bowl?
Well, he can.
He can bowl, but he can do everything else pretty well. Saurav Ganguly used to bowl a little seam up.
He did, yes.
Straight ones.
Yep.
Get him in there.
What is his record? Oh, look it up for me.
Who's Surab's?
No.
Oh.
Virat, his bowling record. Nicely worked away to the leg side by Rahane. And he gets off the mark. And well fielded on the boundary, and they'll just come back for two. So a bit of poor running by Kohli and Rahane, which I don't often say.
Do you want these numbers, Lisa? I've got them.
Yeah, okay, go for it.
All right, test matches. He hasn't taken a wicket. He's played 73 games, 0 wickets.
I think he's more effective in the one-day format, hasn't he? He's picked up some wickets in one day.
Correct.
Yeah.
In limited overs cricket, he has taken 8 scalps across both one-day international and T20 internationals. He's played nearly 300 games though, mind you, and his average in one day is a cool 166.2, which is close to his batting average. So,
so maybe not him for the overs we're looking at. Oh, that one just rose just a little bit more than what Rahane expected, catching him on the glove. So ends Jackson Coleman's over, just 3 runs coming from it. At the end of the 40th, it's 3 for 172.
Impressive start by the Cricket Australia 11 after lunch, and that extra bounce is what has undone Indian teams in the past. And you'd think with the test attack all averaging around 6'5" in height, they're going to be getting a few balls, they're going to be jumping up at them this summer. In fact, watching Hazelwood over the past couple of weeks bowling in the nets to the likes of Steve Smith and David Warner, who are fairly good players and can handle the bounce, he was getting them to leap off a length. He looked extremely good. I think he's going to have a big summer, and he made his test debut in this corresponding series 4 years ago. I think, might have been MS Dhoni was his first wicket, which wasn't out, mind you. Didn't hit it, but it's out in the record books, isn't it?
Well, back then, the Indian team didn't believe in the DRS.
No.
But now, it comes into the game.
And here is, you can just see Rahane talking to Virat, probably just passing on some requests to have a bowl later today or maybe tomorrow, just to get himself in that team. I'm sure I don't know if they can hear us from here, Lisa, but Robbins bang on target again.
Yeah, we talk about, you said the Indian journalists are talking about Rohit Sharma coming in. We've got to remember that Murali Vijay is also an option potentially coming into the side.
He's listed at 14 today, Lisa. I mean, he's barely get a bat.
Well, you don't expect the bowlers to be batting today.
That's true.
Yeah. Nicely worked off his legs. Kohli effortlessly gets it to backward square, and they'll come back for 3. So Kohli again looking good straight after lunch. Moves on to 45.
That's 4 on pretty much any other ground in the world.
It is the longest. It's one of the longest boundaries.
It is enormous out there. Playing on the, is this the 3rd?
Yep.
3rd one? Yeah.
So Rahane on strike.
Outing over there, they caused a lot of havoc for him and the likes of Joe Root, and Alistair Cook is of course retired now, but even him. So, but these, if they're going to get wickets in Australia, it's going to be out of accuracy and just plugging away and sitting on a perfect line on length.
And push for a single here. Shied the non-strikers. They get through safely. So far from this over. Yadav's first.
Yeah, I think he also likes bowling to right-handers, this Umesh Yadav. Looking at his line, but I'm just looking at that action, and I just wonder if there's been a bit of a psychological effect after he had a slip up on that first ball, because the jump is probably not that high, as what it used to be or what it was during that first ball. It just seems like he's ambling in at the moment.
And this is a good shot from Bryant on the back foot, riding the bounce and pushing it out towards the fence for 2. So he's certainly not afraid to play his shots out here on the SCG. Not overawed by any stretch by the opposition. And it's another over worth 7. The Cricket Australia 11, they're none for 14 after 2.
Do we see Ravi Ashwin tonight? I know there's only 2 more overs to be till stumps, but does he give Ashwin a go? We normally see that, don't we, when it slows on stumps, and maybe bring the spinner on, bring all the players around the bat, test someone like, or even Darcy Short sometimes has struggled against quality spin bowling, especially in the short format of the game. But so far, no changes. Shami continues.
Short on strike. This time he more circumspect in pushing the onside.
Yeah, this is where India has to get better as the tour progresses on, as we lead into the test match, where their lengths have to be spot on. A lot of them have come here and seen the ball and made the cardinal sin of, you know, bowling it into the pitch and letting it go. And they're not really, apart from Ishant Sharma, you don't think any of them are really, they're hit the deck bowlers. They're a lot more skillful. They seam the ball, but as we've seen in Australian, especially test ball, in test format, we haven't seen pitches that actually aid a lot of seam movement. So that's going to be the big challenge for them. Yadav does have pace, as does Shami, but you need a bit of assistance, and these guys are good because they just kiss the wicket, as a lot of the commentators say and past great bowlers say. And someone like Mohammad Abbas, we would have seen him during the UAE tour. I mean, he's almost a kisser of the wicket, while we saw someone like a Peter Siddle or even a Mitchell Stark, who, you know, genuine Stark is more of a swing bowler, but these guys, so it's a different kind of challenge for this Indian bowling lineup.
It's the first ball. Darcy's had this over below his chest from Shami, so as you said, Gav, those lengths really important when you're bowling in Australia. Can't get carried away with the bounce.
Yeah, absolutely not. Shami came here 4 years ago and played the first test match and was dropped for the second, played down in Melbourne and then again in Sydney. So didn't have the best of outings, of course. Steve Smith was in red hot form that series, so
that's better from Shami. Beats the outside edge of Short. First one he's pitched up this over.
A much better length. He's a short man. He's not too tall, Mohammad Shami. He really skids onto the bat. Bowl about 140 clicks an hour.
That's exactly that line that we saw Aaron Hardy picking up wickets with the second new ball as well. Cricket Australia 11.
Absolutely, but you already see the difference. That one's really skidded through, where someone like Aaron Hardy was a lot taller, getting a little bit more steeper bounce.
This time it's driven, but no real power on the shot from Short.
Yeah, Shami just trying to use the width of the crease there, going wider and wider. He's had a few problems with the run-up. Worked hard with.
See here, the bat blowing out of that bottom hand from Darcy.
Just practicing. Just play it right under your eyes, Darcy. It's probably what he's telling himself.
Final ball of the over, wide of the crease, down the leg side, and that's going to be 4 runs. So, as Gav just mentioned, experimenting with the width on that crease, Mohammad Shami, but it's gone wrong from him there. And Darcy's capitalised. 4 runs coming from the over in the Cricket Australia 11, none for 18 after 3.
He'll be happy with his start. Just a bit of pad, I think. Did he get a bit of bat on it? He did. So glad I'm up here, not umpiring.
So are we, Gav.
Especially those ones down the leg side, and those don't know where they actually hit the batsman. So from our account, I think, yep, there'll be just 1 more over, and it's going to be bowled by Umesh Yadav. So can India strike before stumps here? 5 4:27 p.m. local time here in Sydney. Shadows lengthening across the SCG.
Little slips in place. Shadows into Bryant. He's back cutting and he finds a gap. And he's going to find 4 more runs. This is really aggressive batting from Max Bryant. He's taking it to the Indians so far early in his innings. Finds a fence again. And he's 12 off 7.
Yeah, beautiful shot, Maxie Bryant. Just waited on it and just got his wrists and hands and threw the ball. We talk about those reflexes and fast hands, and he just pushed it. It was just, I think he's a bludgeoner of the ball, but there was just a bit of sort of elegant in that shot.
This time he's defending, and I guess for those who haven't seen him, Gav, those who are tuning in to the Cricket Network and have not seen Max Bryant before, very much crystalline light in the way he goes about his business, and so much more as well. Same bat sponsor, same state, same stance.
Part of the Bash Brothers?
Well, I dare say if Joe Burns is allowed to audition, then he'll be trying to put his name up in lights this summer at the Gabba. That you can bet your hat on. He's a very powerfully built young man. Was offered a junior contract with the Gold Coast Titans.
Yep, he's actually the nephew of Matt Sears, who played a lot of rugby league for North Sydney Bears. So, yeah, but comes from Gold Coast, and I asked him who he supported in the state of origin, of course, but he said he supports New South Wales.
Well, if you want to get technical, Gav, he was born in New South Wales.
We won't go down that path. We can talk about this all day.
Main thing is he could play for Australia one day in his cricket.
Absolutely.
No doubt he'd love to do. And part of that generation, Gav, this under-19 World Cup team from Australia that won so many fans and admirers for the way they went about their business. Probably the best crop, you'd say, coming through for a little while.
Yeah.
Max Bryant,
Definitely.
Jonathan Merlot, Aaron Hardy, all members of that squad who are in this team, and a few other names, including Jason Sanger and Jack Edwards, Lloyd Pope, who are in the Shield system already, having achieved first class honours this year. So
Baxter Holt's playing a lot of first grade around in Sydney as well.
Nathan McSweeney, another first class debutant.
Another one in.
Yep, Ryan Hadley as well.
Ryan Hadley and Haran Uppal, who started playing under 9s together out west of Sydney as well. So they're really good mates.
Yeah. So we've got 1 ball left in play today out here at the SCG. And what a day it's been for cricket after losing all of first day to rain. It's been full of highlights for batters and bowlers out here. India 358 from their first innings. And the Cricket Australia 11 so far, as they're going to get at least 1 more run to their total. They're going to be, so they've taken another one on the arm. So there you go. That's the courage of youth against this big Indian team. So Cricket Australia 11, they're going to go into stumps. None for 24 after 4 overs here at the SCG. It's been a brilliant day, a brilliant experience, no doubt, for this young squad. And they've held their own against this Indian side, who completed their first innings with 358 runs on the board. So 2 batters who are going to go in unbeaten for the Cricket Australia 11. Darcy Short, who is 10 from 12, and Max Bryant, who's 14 not out from 12 deliveries.
Not going to stick at, and let's see if they want to adapt. Going to stick at, and let's see if they want to adapt differently to find ways of scoring runs. And credit to the
their home conditions. India are one of the world's best teams, not only in tests and one-day cricket, but all formats. And with Virat Kohli there, they're going to be super hard to beat. South Africa, I think they made big strides in 2015 getting to the semi-final.
Robbins again lost to Rahane. Everything's just a little bit more shorter of a length when they bowl to Rahane. They're keeping him on the back foot. 8 of just 15 deliveries, whereas Kohli's 47 off 75.
It's been disciplined stuff after lunch.
It was almost like that first session was, okay, wow, we're actually playing, well, they're playing their shots. And kind of, I think the younger players just got swept up with what the Indian players were doing, whereas now there seems to be, right, this is our plan, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to stick at, and let's see if they want to adapt differently to find ways of scoring runs. And credit to the Indian players, they've stuck to their game.
And I think the bowlers are bowling to their field better, Lisa, and it's a pretty traditional field with the two steps, the gully, point, cover, mid off and on, and then kind of straightish mid-wicket there, and then at a very square, deep, fine leg. But bowling that sort of off-stump line, they're allowing to drift onto the pads and have cover there on the onside. Robbins comes in again and fields off his own bowling, and to be able to do that and know you have that protection there gives the bowlers a little bit more freedom and to push the ball up when they can. I think that's what happened with what was it? Pujara, pardon, who got bowled. He was back, didn't quite get forward to that ball, which just nipped past the outside edge and took the off bail.
Again, off the back foot, timed nicely this time by Rahane, who beats the cover fielder, which is Param Uppal.
And it takes good shots to beat the field, and that was one of those good shots.
Haven't quite seen.
Is to this Indian lineup. He's not your flashy player. Doesn't necessarily go through the limelight of social media or anything like that. He goes about his business so quietly. But what he tends to do really well is he provides that stability down the other end to allow the flashy players to do what they do, because they know that Pujara is going to be there and help them through their innings. So he's such an important cog to this side, and that's why I was interested. He didn't play the first test match.
Yep, did play in Birmingham, Edgbaston.
And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, there were talks about how there was just some part of the game he was trying to get right, getting ready for England. He was over there from April onwards, but playing in England in April, if you score a 30-odd, it's probably seen as a good score. One just keeps slightly low. So he's probably just getting his game right. Ravi Shastri is working very hard with him, along with Sanjay Banga, the batting coach as well. And yeah, he got in. It was a tough pitch at the Lords, where they basically almost a day and a half were washed out. England won the toss, had to play, and the ball was seaming all over the place. And unfortunately, he was looking good and got run out. So, and then he found into his group. He scored a good knock, 80-odd at Trent Bridge, and then at Southampton they scored a brilliant 100. But you're right, he's going to be really important for the Indians, especially during the test matches. Just the way he handles Nathan Lyon as well. He's such an accomplished player of spin bowling. We went through his first-class record, over 180 first-class matches, and when you played 180 first-class matches in India, you played a heck of a lot of spin bowling. We've got about 9 minutes till lunch. So play starting a little bit earlier. so good. He is just getting right behind the ball.
He seems to, the last few kind of defensive shots, he's probably been slightly late on it. And so he keeps kind of practicing, reading the ball off the pitch, making sure his pick up and everything is aligned nicely, so full face of the bat comes down and meets the ball.
Yeah, just listening to a few of the experts and how he went about his business over in England, of course, back in this one short, and he pulls this one out in front of square, and that's racing out towards the ladies' pavilion. That's 4. Kohli moves on to... Shot also brings up 150 for India as Kohli moves to 34. It's a beautiful shot.
He just gets himself into such a good position. His eyes are watching the ball all the way. He gets on the inside line of it and rides it nicely, ensuring that, again, he finds the ground, he hits the ground. I mentioned that already, that he loves to hit a lot of his shots along the ground. He doesn't go for the aerial route until he has to.
Yeah, there was a remarkable stat about him when he scored around 650-odd runs against England in a 4-match series in India. And it wasn't until he hit his something like 400th run that he decided to loft the ball. And that was, just shows how much control he has over his batting. Just going back to those points in England where he had to work really hard, because 4 years ago I think he only managed to score 100 runs in 10 innings. So it was worked over by Jimmy Anderson on the Duke ball in those gloomy days in England. Had to work really hard, and he went to the nets in Mumbai. It was during the monsoon season, and he actually told the curators out there, just leave the pitches uncovered. Had some throwdowns, and what he wanted to work on was actually not getting his bat in front of the pad. Just wanted to play really tight and close to his body, and spent nearly 6 days, 3 hours a day, just working hard on his game, and of course scored all those runs in England. So he's a great batsman, but there is a lot of hard work that goes behind the closed doors that not all of us get to see. Maybe the word's spreading, Lisa, that Kohli's at the crease. We're getting a few Indian fans coming through the game.
Yeah. You always see Indian fans wherever an Indian side is playing. They're aware of it, they know it, they live and breathe their cricket. One thing also, that reason why Virat Kohli is so good at his job is he puts so much time and effort into also his strength and conditioning. And you rewind 10 years ago to the Indian side, and you wouldn't necessarily say they were athletes.
Yep.
They were amazing cricketers. They weren't athletes. Whereas what this generation, this side at the moment is, they are athletes, and they put restrictions on players if they haven't passed the yo-yo test.
Yep.
Players have missed out tours because of that. And Virat Kohli is leading by example.
Yeah, absolutely. And watching his fitness, it actually drives, as you said, some of the other players to get into his regime of things and ask him what he's doing, as this one's pushed out for yet another single. Kohli on to 37. And that's what you want as a captain. And you've got players who want to sort of follow in your footsteps, and that's a sign of a strong leader. That's something he spoke about just at his pre-departure conference in Mumbai as well, where he says this is going to be the hardest work as Pujara. It's another single. It's the end of another Fallon's over. India 2 for 157, where he said Australia's going to be the toughest work for his bowling unit because the conditions, the hardness of the pitch, the sun, and the conditions generally are very good for batting. And once the Kookaburra ball, after it goes about 25 overs old, it gets tough, and the bowlers have to continuously come back spell after spell after spell, and that's what he's sort of, and he's having a good laugh there with his mate Cheteshwar Pujara. I'm not sure what that's about. See, the Yorkshire players called Pujara Steve. It's a nickname they gave him, I'm sure. I didn't want to call him Cheteshwar every time. It's a bit of a tongue twister, so they call him Steve. Good story about it. He's playing up in Yorkshire. The chopper going across the SCG. Still that strong breeze, so things are going to clear a little bit later on. We're expecting a bit of sunshine, maybe say another couple of hours as we resume the final session, so make sure you head down or are logged in on cricket.com.au. Plenty of Shield cricket as well going on, so as we approach lunch, make sure you are in an office or following it on your app. Get down and have a look, as that one's a wide ball that Jari leaves alone.
I'm interested to see whether Sam Whiteman decides to potentially bring the off spinner on for Upal. I think it's always handy to kind of, just for a couple of overs, especially Dan Fallon's, he's bowled 10 overs already, 1 for 33 off his, just to keep changing it up as well for these bowlers so that the batsmen don't get too comfortable, get used to certain bowlers.
That's a full toss, and easy pickings for Pujara. That's away to a boundary.
And also his 50.
Brings up his 50, yet another 50 for Pujara. So 51 of 83 balls. He just lifts his, almost to say, yep. Terrific knock. So KL Rahul's the only one missing out in this Indian top order. Pujara's got 50, sure. Made 66, and Kohli's unbeaten on 37. So India getting what they want, a strong, decent amount of batting practice, especially for their top order. Short, and he punches again. That's a lovely looking shot out towards the Bill O'Reilly stand. Little touchdown, and Kohli should come back for a third. He does. Carry on to 54.
What I do enjoy, the little bit of a chuckle is that Pujara, when he's running between the wickets with Kohli, he knows he's got to get his skates on. So he leans forward as much as he can because he thinks, right, if I lean forward, my feet are going to go follow quickly. And whereas Virat Kohli looks so easy striding between the wickets as he comfortably comes back for three.
He's had a couple of knee surgeries as well as Pujara, so certainly not the swiftest moves between the wickets, but no ball, and Kohli. Summers just not getting his length right, and Kohli's punished that, and that will hit the ropes as well. So 4 more to Virat Kohli. It's an expensive over here. It's gone 4-3 and yet another boundary, as India moving along to 2 for 164, and we've only had 38 overs.
Yeah, their scoring rate has been exceptional, and this is the difference with this Indian side, I think, with Prithvi Shaw. That opens the batting, puts the pressure right on the bowlers straight away, and that allows, and since he's come into the test side in the last 2 test matches against the West Indies, he's got a great platform and allows someone like Virat Kohli to play the way he wants to as well.
Well, with it. Last over before lunch, on to 12:30. Maybe Pujara just letting him know. Yep. Get to put your feet up, and maybe whatever Virat has for lunch, maybe he loves his green tea, carries around in his own bag. Not sure where he gets it from, but he loves it. Every time he's out training, he has his own bag, which he has his green tea. Negotiates that comfortably. So the umpire's just conferring. And it is lunch, yep. Ripped off the bail. So India have gone on to 2 for 169 here at the Sydney Cricket Ground on what is, well, it's the first day today, but after having the day one being abandoned due to heavy showers that we had across Sydney. Look at the scorecards. And with Sam Whiteman won the toss earlier this morning and decided to field first. And we go through the scorecard where Prithvi Shaw made 66. KL Rahul was the only one who missed out. He was caught at mid-off trying to drive Coleman, the left-arm seamer, and he hit one uppishly, and it was snaffled by Max Bryant. So he missed out with the bat. He was the first man out. Shaw would played some glorious strokes. The back foot drives, a few cuts and flicks, and a couple of terrific pull shots as well. He made 66 before Dan Fallon's got the better of him. He bowled him around the legs as Shaw tried to sweep a full ball on a leg stump. Pujara has carried on. He's looked good. He's completed his half century. He's unbeaten on a 54. And of course the Indian captain who's alongside him at lunchtime, a 41 not out. He's looked good as well. He's played a couple of delightful strokes, one a powerful 6 off Dan Fallon's over long off, and then a couple of beautiful time back foot shots as we look through the bowling figures.
Well, it's just the 5 bowlers that have been used so far by the CA11. The best one at that was Jackson Coleman, who picked up the first wicket of Rahul, and also Dan Fallons, who bowled Shaw around his legs. As for the other bowlers, well, they've found it difficult going to get good line and length and have gone for plenty runs. The partnership now between Pujara and Kohli has moved on to 73, and India are in a prime position as they go into lunch.
We'll be back as the players have lunch here. We'll be back on cricket.com.au in about, say, 35 minutes from now. Play will resume here at 1:10 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Until then, go on to cricket.com.au and follow a lot of the Shield cricket that's going on and all the latest news. So until then, we'll see you in about 35 minutes from now on.
तो भाई लोग पहले से देखते हैं क्या हुआ था। थोड़ी देर पहले चलते हैं तो देखते हैं कैसे पृथ्वी शाह अपने ज्यादा शुरू करते हैं मैच। ये लाइव आ जाएगा ना तो तुरंत मैं आपको दे दूंगा, ठीक है। अभी लंच चल रहा है ना तो 30 मिनट तो ऐसे ही देखना पड़ेगा। चलिए जो आप नहीं देखे तो वो आप देख
saying no, you can even get close to that. So he wants a good chance to bat.
We mentioned different types of techniques. You just see Prithvi Shaw compared that to KL Rahul there. who's looking to come forward, while Prithvi prefers to hang back. It's a remarkable story about Prithvi Shaw. I mean,
yeah, you mentioned that, and for those that are listening, if you've got Netflix, I highly recommend that you go on and watch a documentary called Beyond All Boundaries.
Yep.
It's about the 2011 World Cup that was held in India, and they follow 3 lives, and one of them is Prithvi Shaw, and he's just 11 years old, and what his father did and what he gave up to ensure that his son had every opportunity. It is a fascinating story, and then it goes through the gentleman that used to paint himself in the Indian flag, and Tendulkar.
Sudhir Naik.
Yeah, and then also a female player who, out of issues of domestic violence, wanted to get into cricket and tried to trial for the Mumbai side. So 3 fascinating stories, and you'd love to know, for me personally, I'd love to know where that female player is.
Do some research on it, Lisa. Brought up the right topic, of course. If you're around in Melbourne today, the Southern Stars are returning.
They are.
You're over there. What a terrific tournament, and what a successful team. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, obviously going over to a World T20, you know that the shortest format of the game, things can change quite dramatically. A good innings, a good performance, conditions may not favour you, but as soon as Australia came onto the park, they just played with such an air of confidence. They were comfortable within themselves. They knew their roles, and they looked like the number 1 side, which they were going into the tournament, despite not winning the last World T20 and lost that to West Indies in Kolkata. But yeah, they played exceptionally well. Elisa Healy was superb at the top, batted with freedom. And for those that know Elisa Healy, they know what she's capable of, but she just hasn't been as consistent as she would have liked. But she peeled off runs after runs after runs, and gave the perfect launching pad for the rest of the batters. Coleman in again to KL Rahul, who's still struggling. So another maiden there for Coleman, and it's none for 10 off 4.
Yeah, it is a terrific tournament to watch as well. I think we had good competition between ball and bat. Of course, we've seen a lot of the WBBL action, which has been streamed on cricket.com.au. Not the batting-friendly wickets that
they weren't.
110 was probably a good score in a lot of them.
Well, in Guyana, the pitch was obviously different. We saw the tournament start with India posting 194 and Harmanpreet Kaur smashing 100. And you thought, okay, yes, we're going to see a different type of World T20. In St. Lucia, there was a lot of rain, and they were thinking of potentially moving all of those round games to Antigua. But thankfully, the sun started to shine, and then finals in Antigua was a different wicket altogether. Short again, and this time pulled comfortably in front of square, but it won't have the legs because that's the longest part of the boundary, but they will come back comfortably for 3, which means for the first time KL Rahul gets a chance to face Aaron Summers.
Really no pace in that wicket. The ball just stuck in the pitch, and had Prithvi Shaw had ample amount of time to rock back and play that way in front of square leg, and nearly went out to deep mid wicket. But that is a huge boundary out there. I'm assuming that when Dan Fallons comes on to bowl, the leg spinner, he's sure to bowl from the Randwick end of the ground rather than the Paddington end, which we're commentating from. And Rahul just checking his guard with Locker Paul Wilson. There's a lot of... You're out there having a long chat with Locker this morning?
Yeah, I obviously see a lot of the international umpires around the world as well, so it's kind of always nice to see a friendly face when you're in a different country in the same Aussie accent, and g'day mate, how's it going? So it was always good to catch up with him, and we were just having a chat about World T20. There was a few interesting calls that were going on. Penalty runs was given. First time I'd seen that in my entire career, as Rahul is facing short and punched off the back foot, almost high on the bat. That's why you're only going to see a couple of runs. Finally, KL Rahul's off the mark.
It was a match, was it India-Pakistan? 5 penalty runs, twice. That's right. for running onto the pitch, and that wasn't for the bowlers, it was for the batters.
Yeah, and it happened the last delivery of the innings as well, and it was for a new batter that just came in because obviously other players had been warned. Yeah, it certainly was a talking point during that competition. As Hardy comes in and bowl to Rahul. Short and outside off again. So Hardy just kind of hanging the ball outside that off stump area. He's quite happy to bang it in. We haven't seen too many full deliveries by him as yet.
I think we've seen a leave after a long time. I think Prithvi Shaw was so keen to lay bat and ball on every time.
But yeah, we started the whole conversation about the World T20. Obviously, the Australian women's cricket side. If you head down to Federation Square today, you get a chance to celebrate with them and congratulate them.
It was just interesting listening to Meg Lanning's press conference after they won the World Cup on how much it meant to them and how the loss in the World Cup in the 50 overs last year and the T20 the year before, how much it was a driving point for them. You've been around the Southern Stars pretty much all your life, but I mean, how much did this mean to them?
You could tell that it meant a lot, and more so to Meg Lanning, who doesn't show a lot of emotion very often. When she hit the winning runs, nicely off legs, they'll pick up a quick single. Yeah, when she hit the winning runs and they scampered through, she threw her helmet off, she jumped 10 feet tall, she ran to Ashley Gardner, jumped onto her, like wrapped her legs around her, then the rest of the team came out and embraced her. I'm thinking, this is not the Meg Lanning I know. You'd almost think that she hadn't won a world title before, but she's won 2 T20s already, one as captain and 1 50 over, but I think it was bittersweet after those 2 early exits.
Right behind that one. So, yeah, of course, the WBBL kicks off soon as well. So, in another.
It kicks off Saturday. So,
Saturday, that's right. Yeah.
So, make sure that whilst you're streaming this match, that you click onto Channel 7 and watch the coverage there. So, into the 5th over here at the SCG, and it's been a solid start by the Indian side. The openers, Prithvi Shaw and KL Rahul. Shaw on 13 and Rahul on 3.
Speaking of live streaming, of course, about 10:20 here, 10:30. Most of the Shield matches that you can stream online. New South Wales taking on Western Australia. That would, of course, over in Perth starting at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. But the other two, there's some competition going on, and I mean the 14-man squad has already been big for Australia, but who will open the batting? Rahul just pulls away. Not sure what's in front of him. A bit of distraction.
Yeah, he didn't seem comfortable, did he? He was looking behind. Maybe the fact that sometimes as a batter you're kind of looking down, tapping away, and then all of a sudden the bowler's upon you and you're like, well, hang on, I'm actually not ready. So it's good that he pulled off, but that's certainly not what fast bowlers want to do after they've just run in. Coleman again, full of length. So I think Coleman has bowled better.
Yeah, definitely. He's got the right length there as well. He's been inside edge of KL Rahul's bat. And it's nice to get into the groove for a lot of these Indian batsmen, of course. As I spoke about, Prithvi Shaw, Ajinkya Rahane, Murali Vijay, Parthiv Patel, who's their replacement keeper as well, and missed one. Who did I miss? One other.
And gone. So the first ball shot really by KL Rahul. Wideish delivery, again full of length. Rahul played very early. The catch was from Max Bryant. So there was a little bit of a juggle there, but he kept his nerve. And KL Rahul's run of 4 scores continues here at the SCG.
Yeah, very soft dismissal by KL Rahul, just trying to drive that on the up. And we've seen this pitch, the ball's not really coming onto the bat due to a bit of moisture. It was there, to be driven, but just the execution, maybe he had to wait for a fraction longer. He juggled it, did Matthew Bryant, but managed to hold on. So KL Rahul is gone. India have lost their first wicket, and it's 1 for 16. And a good reward for Jackson Coleman because he's bowled quite well.
Yeah, we were just saying that he's been the pick out of the two openers so far. The fact that he's bowled fuller of length, he's got the ball to nip back. He got the ball to nip back between bat and pad of KL Rahul. But what it does do is bring Chestawara Pujara in. And he's had, he's one of the players of the Indian side that I absolutely thoroughly enjoy watching.
He's played 180 first-class matches, 13,953 runs, 45 hundreds, and he's averaging 54. I mean, he's only 30 years of age. His test numbers are not bad either. He's averaging 49, 64 test matches, and 4,905. So closing in on 5,000 test runs as well. So he was almost penciled in as the replacement for Rahul Dravid ever since he retired back in 2011. And ever since that, he's got a phenomenal record. A lot better record, of course, in India on the slower kind of pitches, but he had a decent tour of England, scored a brilliant 100 down in Southampton. So looking forward to seeing him and see if he can conquer the bouncy conditions of Australia. So look out for him. He can bat for a long, long time. Let's see. 1 day, 2 days. He's got a couple of triple hundreds playing in first-class cricket. It'll be a big challenge. He's got 100 in South Africa, 100 in England, 100 in New Zealand. So he's got runs all over the place.
He's facing Jackson Coleman. Again, is narrowing in on that fourth stump line. Length, really good. As I said, Jackson Coleman plays for Victoria in the JLT Cup. He picked up 5 for 39 against the New South Wales side. Would have been against one of their strongest sides as well. He's 196 centimetres tall. And like you said, bowls with good pace.
Yeah, played in the tour match against England last year at the Adelaide Oval. It's a good ball as well. Pujara withdraws his bat, got rid of Alistair Cook and I think it was David Malan as well. So two well-accomplished Test cricketers, although Malan's probably just outside the England team at the moment, and Alistair Cook, of course, retiring about 4 months ago against India in that final Test match at the Oval. It was a terrific atmosphere. I've never seen the English crowd clapping and cheering as much they have when Alistair Cook got that 100. Another false start, so it's not spectators in at the moment, especially not the stand that's we're commentating on. A few in the members area, a few of the Indian supporters just started to rock up. What a crowd it was here on Sunday, 37,399.
Nicely driven by Pujara. He won't go to the boundary, but he will pick up 3. Because, again, that is to the long side, to the Bill O'Reilly stand. Full of length and found the gap easily. So Pujara is away. India move on to 1 for 19.
Yeah, the fifth batsman I was still going to talk about was Hanuman Vihari. So 5 of them have actually been in Sydney. They were actually over in New Zealand playing a first-class match against, they were part of the India A team that went over there, playing at Mount Maunganui over in Taronga. Lovely place. Short defence to mid-off, but 5 of them were out there. A few of them got runs. Prithvi Shaw got 50 in both innings. Hanuman Vihari scored a 90-odd. Parthiv Patel, who seems to be around forever, I think made his debut back in 2001. He was over there. Ajinkya Rahane and Murali Vijay were over there as well. So from there, they flew straight to Sydney. They've been in the nets, and pretty gruesome net sessions they've had. They've had a throwdown specialist. He's a left armer, from Sri Lanka. They've recruited him because they went across to the Asia Cup early and they felt they didn't have any expert who was a left arm throw-down specialist. They have the right slinger, who is Raghu, as they call it, and he can hurl the ball at 150 kilometres an hour. And Virat Kohli says, if I can handle Raghu in the nets, I can handle any fast bowler. I'm sure those words are going to be tested this summer.
It will, and I'm sure his shoulder is going to be tested as well if he's throwing constantly into the...
He's been doing it for 10 years now, Lisa, and has
impressive.
No problems at all. He just keeps going and going, and so they've got a left armour as well in Nuwan, who's come across from Sri Lanka.
A short leg in play now as well for Pujara. So Summers continuing. His figures so far are none for 16. You've got your 3 slips, gully. You've got your short leg. It's really only 2 fielders in front of square. Backward point. 45 on the boundary. CA11 attacking with their field. Again, short of a length and left alone.
And sometimes it's almost difficult for a batsman when they get out to Australia to adjust to that bounce. And there was a lot of, even in the nets, they were trying to leave a lot of balls and getting a gauge on what length is the best length for the fast bowlers as well. Ishant Sharma, this is his 4th tour to Australia, so he was leading the charge and showing some of the young guns. Jasprit Bumrah coming out here for the first time, especially for Test cricket. Mohammad Shami's been here as well, and Umesh Yadav, he can certainly crank it up as well. So terrific fast bowling unit, something that we don't really associate with the Indian touring teams.
Well, I think of late, the Indian fast bowling group has grown in numbers, have grown in experience, and there's a real tussle now of who's going to be in that, the 3 spots. Before it, they were kind of scraping and hoping that they'd find, and if you had a long tour, you hope that they wouldn't get injured. But now the fact you've got Ishant Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Umesh Yadav, Mohammad Shami.
They keep coming, don't they?
They do. And then you've still got the youngsters that obviously were exposed at the Under-19 World Cup start of this year in New Zealand, where they beat Australia in the final. There's some exciting young cricketers, batters and bowlers coming through.
Mohammad Siraj is one of them as well. He was over in New Zealand. He's picking up lots of wickets as well. He can bowl at 140 clicks. So it's a different Indian bowling unit. And of course they do have decent spinners as well. Ravi Ashwin, over 300 Test wickets.
Nicely played off the back foot, but doesn't beat backward point.
They've got an inspirational leader in Virat Kohli. It's going to be fascinating to see him bat 300s here, or 400s here in the Test series. Last time he was out here, Jara with that really strong bottom hand grip that he has. Almost gets his left hand right around the bat as well. It's a technique he's had for a long time. Of course, son of a first-class player. His dad played a lot of first-class cricket for Saurashtra. I was just looking through, we talk about a lot of domestic competitions, but India, they have, if you can look back at the wicket, KL Rahul, the only man to fall this morning. Hitting it upishly, and Max Bryant taking it. A simple catch, although he did juggle it. So 7 domestic competitions in India. That includes the IPL. It's got the Ranji Trophy, which is the
Shield equivalent.
Yep. We've got the Deodar Trophy, which is the 50 over, like our Matador Cup. You've got the Irani Trophy, which is just a one-off match between the winner of the Ranji Trophy and the rest of India. We've got Vijay Hazare Trophy, which is a 50 over tournament. That includes all 37 teams. The T20 competition, Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, Duleep Trophy, and the IPL. 7 domestic competitions. And interesting, the first-class cricket just started about a month ago, and 94 players made their debuts. incredible.
Yeah, well, the land of over 1 billion.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so there's got to be enough cricket to keep them happy.
Absolutely. And everyone wants to aspire to be a cricketer. And just like this man on screen, Prithvi Shaw, remarkable story. Hails from Mumbai. Most people say it's there.
Again, off the back foot. It's comfortable. He's happy to play off that back foot, get in line, leave it, cut it. He's the type of player that will play his shots.
Absolutely.
He's always looking to score runs. He's looking to put pressure on the bowlers and not let them settle. That's one thing sometimes when you play red ball cricket is bowlers get used to bowling, or they want to keep bowling to the same batter so they can start to set them up. Bowl good lines and lengths and then just throw in the variation every now and again. But what Prithvi Shaw does is he looks to score runs. It can be off the front or back foot, which means that they're rotating the strike. And also the bowler feels, hang on, I'm going for runs, maybe I need to do something different.
It's remarkable, 19 years of age. I mean, next week he'll have a big crowd, and he'll be confronting Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, and of course Nathan Lyon. What an exciting prospect that's going to be. So they can't wait for the 4 Test series. The first one's of course getting underway in Adelaide next Thursday. He's always been used to pressure. He says from the Under-19 World Cup, I was asked him, how do you feel about the pressure of playing in the final, a lot of cameras, and he said, well, I've had journalists around my school cricket matches since I was 12 and 13 years of age, so I don't sense a lot of pressure. Scored 545 in one innings in school cricket. It's remarkable, 500 runs.
Still 3 slips employed on the front foot and a quick single taken. Good understanding between these two already. And one thing that was noticeable, obviously, in Prithvi Shaw's Test debut is he had a long partnership with Pujara. Pujara had scored in that Test 86 off 130 deliveries, batted for 194 minutes.
That was in Rajkot?
Yeah, it was in Rajkot. So
hometown for Mr. Pujara.
So they actually, I think he really kept Prithvi Shaw's nerves and under wraps, and when he was getting close to that triple figure mark. First real bouncer that was seen so far here at the SCG. It's going to be called a wide. So I think, you know, whilst you have the youth of Shaw who has the freedom to play, you still need that old hand just to calm him down and help him through what can be sometimes in Test cricket some difficult periods.
Yeah, Pujara is almost one of those batsmen in this Indian team that you look down, you look at Kohli, you see Rohit Sharma, you see Prithvi Shaw and Rahul, and the explosive batters, and he's almost the backbone of this Indian team because he bats at number 3, he can bat for a long periods of time. He's got terrific concentration powers, batted for over nearly 600 balls in a Test match against Australia last year in Ranchi, which is a remarkable effort. So he's quite crucial to India's prospects this summer, of course. India having never won a Test series down under, so plenty of expectations, plenty of pressure from back in India as well, especially against this Australian lineup, who still have a terrific bowling unit and the upcoming batsmen, of course. A lot of competition there. Marcus Harris in the Test squad. Peter Handscomb amongst the runs as well. Usman Khawaja also returning. So all points to a terrific Test series as Charge nearly dragged that on. It's going to go to the boundary.
Yeah, not a bad delivery there by Summers. Again, banged in, but what was different about this delivery was that it just jagged back and just cramped Pujara, and he was late to get behind it and just got something on it. Like you said, Gav was very lucky that he didn't chop it onto his stumps. It'd be Good delivery there by Summers. I think his line was a lot better. You can see how much he really threw his body into that delivery.
That is a great shot of what fast bowlers have to go through, or have to put their body through.
This time full of length and whipped off comfortably. Must be a single, so 5 runs off the first 2 deliveries.
Yeah, just going back to that Pujara, where he's got an inside edge, and we spoke about that. He has that top hand which goes really around the handle, and he has the top hand and the bottom hand also firm on the bat. So when he actually plays the ball, the bat face is slightly towards mid-on. So if you get the ball to jag in slightly, it's going to hit the inner edge and go on the leg side, or as happened 2 balls ago, it actually jagged with the bounce and nearly trickled onto his stumps.
Another wide delivery, and called that as well. Just to give you an idea, Prithvi Shaw, you talk about height of Jackson Coleman at 196 centimetres. I think Prithvi Shaw is probably in the 160s.
Yeah, mate.
I feel tall next to him, and I don't say that very often.
He thinks he has an inch on Sachin Tendulkar.
I don't think he does, to be honest. Someone's in again, uppish and over the slip cord. And so Indian batsmen just struggling slightly when the ball is a little bit fuller. And their hands are out in front of their body, which means it's going in the air.
Yeah, dangerous shot. It's the one who's got to be careful batting on Australian pitches. But I tell you what, he has terrific bat speed, because that just looked like a mere push, but the ball absolutely flew. Also an indication of how quick Summers is at bowling. We saw that side-on shot. He was absolutely bracing that front leg and getting over the top.
This time on the back foot and played comfortably in front of square, going to mid-wicket. And I don't think it's going to have enough. No, it's not. A good chase out there just to keep it to 3. So expensive over so far. 4-1 wide, 4. Which was, you could put down as a chance, or a fork shot. Went over the slip cord, and then the short ball played comfortably in front of square for 3.
That's just the mindset of Prithvi Shaw. He knows he's had a streaky boundary through the slips, but he's still got his attacking mindset. He saw the ball short and decided to pull it. See that again by Pujara. As soon as the ball comes into him, just with the way he plays, he gets easy signals. We just get a helicopter going above the SCG. We had that the other day as well. Ishant Sharma is about to start his press conference, about to talk to the media, and we have to just hold him up for about 3 or 4 seconds because of the noise. So the good news is that we've started to see a bit of blue sky in Sydney. We haven't seen that for about good 48 to 72 hours. Beautifully balanced at the crease, is sure.
Shot. Really good shot, but again can't find that point region. So end of an expensive over there by Summers. So end of 9 overs, it's 1 for 38.
Yeah, good start from India. Good news, Shaw getting amongst the runs. He's 23 of 23 balls. So there is the aerial shot of Sydney.
Well, there's your blue sky that you're talking about, Gav.
Yep, just a little bit, although the forecast is going to get better as this match progresses. So hopefully if you're around Sydney, you head down to the SCG and watch this formidable Indian batting lineup. I mean, it's got the test match on, but if you're in Sydney and head down, of course, like to see Prithvi Shaw and Cheteshwar Pujara, of course, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane. Lovely scene, terrific.
It's going to be Coleman again to continue from the Paddington end. Full delivery and driven straight down the ground. Again, I don't think it has enough legs, so it's just a gentle push by Pujara as he's trying to build his innings and get comfortable with the conditions.
A nice shot. He's looking to score down the ground. The outfield just slightly slow, I might.
Well, the ground staff have done exceptionally well. I know a lot of the grounds now have got the drainage facilities underneath to ensure that not too much water kind of remains on the surface, but you'd expect it still to be a little bit slow. So 1 for 40. We're in the 10th over. And just to show you the rate at which the Indian batsmen are scoring, Pujara, who normally takes his time, he's 12 off 15. Prithvi Shaw, no surprise, he's a runner ball 23. A bit of wind around, which is a good thing, which means that the bails are going to come off as well.
You're doing a bit of a trick with the bails this morning, I saw on the pitch. What was that about?
No, not a trick. What the umpires do is they use a bail and they toss it to decide which end. So they gave me the honour to do it.
Right, there you go. Yeah. So whoever wins decides which end they want to stand at?
Well, correct, and they were they didn't even ask me what side of the bail it was, but I had no issues guessing. Down through the covered gap, they'll just pick up one. No surprise that Paul Wilson had the longer end of the bail.
Might get a screenshot of next time Prithvi Shaw's on Paul Wilson's end. See the height difference between the two. Paul Wilson must be at least close to 6'5", and Prithvi about 5'5". So good start for India. Shaw on a 23. Back and defence has got PS 100 on his bat. He likes the number 100, and on his MRF bat, we might zoom in. That's PS, and he's got some new bats for this tour of Australia, he was saying. So they're 360.
Well, there goes that idea.
Yeah, maybe it's the new bats. He's got rid of the PS 100.
Well, he hits 360 degrees.
Yeah, that's true. Sure, of course, in Hindi can mean a ton. So,
he wants the single and he won't get it. Good decision by Pujara. Yeah. One thing that Shaw needs to be conscious of is just look at his back foot when he plays the shot. He goes to the leg side. He just opens himself up. So whilst that allows him to score a lot of runs in that offside region, can cause him a few issues as well. And I would imagine that the Australian side will be looking at all of those weaknesses and trying to figure out a way of getting him out. Again, that back foot goes there, but this time his front foot is in a good position as he punches down the ground for 2.
Yeah, he knows about that issue and spoken a lot about it, but maybe next time I'm on air and Prithvi Shaw's hopefully out there, that I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But for now, Lisa, I'm going to get Max Bryan to join you for the next handful of overs.
Thanks, Gav. Remembering that the umpires, Paul Wilson and Jared Abood, will be officiating out in the middle. And the match referee is Steve Bernard, former Australian manager. So there's Paul Wilson, former WA player. He actually did some coaching as well. He coached the WA Fury side, the women's side, and then decided to turn his hand in umpiring. Jared Abood, he's a lawyer by trade, but his passion is cricket. And only got into an international setup and now enjoys travelling around Australia and the world. It's a great opportunity for them. Summers continues. Worked nicely by Pujara, just the one. Max, how have you been?
Very well, thank you, Lisa. And, good morning to all the viewers out there as well on the Cricket Network. It's a great place to be on a Thursday.
This is work for us.
This is great. Great office for today. Fantastic job by the ground staff, as you mentioned earlier, to get us on for today after that rain yesterday. It's been a good start from both sides. Nice to have one wicket back in the sheds for the CA11.
I think they'd be happy that they've been able to take one wicket with them. Main thing is that they've got the best conditions to bowl on, really, so they'll want to ensure that they utilise that.
Looks like we've had a bowling change as well.
They have, actually. Scoreboard's taken a little bit of time, and these are young players that are coming through the ranks.
This looks like young Aaron Hardy from Western Australia, who's getting his first crack today with the ball.
Born in Dorset. WA's played the under-23s WA side.
Just seems to be part of that production line they've got over there, Lisa, of tall quicks who can bat as well. I was lucky enough to see him last year in a Pathways game, a 2020 game up at the Gabba. Very capable with the bat.
Comes in fuller of length this time, short punches. Again, just the one run. And you wonder when the Sam Whiteman, the captain, are comfortable still with 3 slips. You'd imagine, given the conditions, the greenish tinge. Now, we've only seen Jackson Coleman.
Was Ryan Gibson down there at one end, and he was bowling, he was batting, and I'm sure that Hazel Stark Collins was thinking he'll bowl to Virat, because he's going to be the big wicket this summer.
Well, you almost wondered whether, given that they're just behind the members' pavilion, whether they'd just run out here, trot out and have an opportunity to bowl. As we're going to see Luke Robbins come in. He's going to change end and bowl from the Randwick end. And bowls to Pujara, who doesn't quite get his timing right after lunch.
You're right, though. It would have been very interesting to see.
Just a couple of overs.
Just a test attack come out there, manage their workloads out in the middle of the SCG, get those overs under their belts, bowl to, the players they're going to face in 4 test matches this summer. Would have been quite a battle, and I'm sure if that was the case, the crowds would have quickly filled.
Left alone this time. Well, I guess as a former player, I would have gone, no, I don't want them to have a look at me. They can have a look at me come the first test match. But I also think, whilst workloads are important and strength and conditioning staff monitor all the fast bowling loads, the best way to get your loads up, proper loads up, is in a real life situation where you're gunning for wickets. You're going to put in that extra effort instead of potentially just going through the motions as the guys might have been doing in the back nets. But yeah, interesting train of thought.
But as a current non-player or never player, I would say that, these players have played each other so often.
What's another 10 5
Are they going to learn anything?
Yeah.
Is Mitchell Stark got a special delivery that he doesn't want to show Virat Kohli? I'm not so sure.
Robbins this time just straightening his line up. Pujara comfortably defending it.
And plus you can start getting those mental scars in early. We always talk about the mental scars.
Yeah, I think that's a big point. Yeah.
So you can come out here. Josh Hazell takes the outside edge of Virat Kohli in his warm-up game, deprives him of some key overs in the middle. Maybe you think, well, advantage Australia.
Hold him. So straight after lunch, Pujara missed Luke Robinson's delivery and hit the top of the bails.
Perfect delivery there, isn't it? It's come forward, been the outside edge, taking the top of off stump. Pretty sure that's a textbook delivery there from the young bowler.
He'd certainly be happy with this delivery. He's bowled seam upright a lot of the time. Squared him up as well, hit the top of off stump. That's what all the fast bowling coaches want you to do.
Oh, that's outstanding. Just the bails. Pujara's got no idea. He meant to be fair, he covered that pretty well, but it's just done enough off the seam. And look at that. Shattered the bails.
So Pujara departs after a decent amount of time in the middle. Scored a 50 and he would have felt comfortable with his time, but the joys of the longer format, you've got to come in and get set again. So that partnership of 73 between Pujara and Kohli is broken, and it comes about by Luke Robbins. And India now are 3 for 169. And the new batter in is Ajinkya Rahane. Comes in and you get a sense that he's a little bit under pressure.
It's pretty interesting, this batting lineup for India, because they've got so many star players. How they fit them all in is going to be very interesting. We've got Rohit Sharma listed to come in at number 7. But the talk around the Indian journos, Lisa, is that they want Rohit at number 6, and how they fit him in this team, whether he plays without an all-rounder at the side, it'll be interesting. Generally, you need 5 bowlers in Australia. Rohit, not so much of a bowler, so I'm not sure how they're going to balance their side, but Rohit seems to be a key player for them this summer as Rahane faces up to Robbins.
Decides to go with a short delivery to start with, and is ridden nicely by Rahane. So end of a successful over, a wicket maiden by Robbins. His figure's 1 for 27. India now, after 39, it's 3 for 169. If you look at the batting order for the test match over in India when they last played against the West Indies, it was Shaw, Rahul, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Pant, Jadeja, Ashwin, Kuldeep Yadav, Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Shami. So I'm just trying to think.
Try and squeeze another